Crafted by the hands of scribes over 250 years ago, rescued from the ashes of the Holocaust almost 70 years ago, adopted by Congregation B'nai B'rith of Santa Barbara 30 years ago, and tenderly held and chanted from throughout the years. This Czech memorial scroll number 35 is showing its venerable age. It is a rare gem. From its mystical calligraphy to its fine parchment to its ornate poles, the time has come where it must be restored. It was brought to us in its worn condition so that we in Santa Barbara could give it a second life. The Jewish community of Příbram, Czechoslovakia, its community of origin, is gone, a victim of the Nazis in World War II. That community lives on through this scroll. It is ours in trust, and it is up to us to keep it alive and tell its story. The Torah scrolls from Czechoslovakia were part of a huge collection of Jewish ceremonial objects that were collected under the watchful eye of the Nazis during World War II. Over 1,500 Torah scrolls were gathered, representing hundreds of Jewish communities throughout the country. Jews in Prague sorted, classified, and cataloged these treasures and arranged the scrolls in stacks reaching from the floor to the ceiling. When World War II ended, the Torah scrolls still lay in the Jewish Museum, but there was nothing that the staff of the museum could do to preserve them. And so the scrolls seemed condemned to slow decay. That is, until the year 1964, when the scrolls were shipped across Europe and arrived at the Westminster Synagogue in London. From there, they have been sent by the Czech Memorial Scrolls Trust to Jewish communities around the world to be cherished as memorials to a tragic past, but at the same time to be read and studied by a new generation of Jews, the guarantors of Jewish survival and rebirth.
This is a scroll that it's too good to lose. It has such a history to it, and there's so much beauty to it that we've decided to make the commitment to repair it to the point of being able to be read from publicly again.
In 1980, beloved members of our temple, Barney and Valerie Abrahams, flew to London to bring scroll number 35 to Santa Barbara and into the loving arms of CBB. Our scroll came from the Czech town of Příbram. This city boasted a sizable Jewish population before the Holocaust. Members of CBB, Alex and Doris Stein, grew up in a city very close to Příbram called Brno and have a close connection to our scroll number 35. A gift in Alex's memory underwrites its restoration.
Growing up in Czechoslovakia, both of my parents lived very fulfilling and privileged lives.
They were very knowledgeable. They traveled, all these people traveled all over. They lived a life that has never been duplicated, I think, by Jews.
They left right before the war, and when they came to the United States, they really had to start all over again. The Torah itself was used in my daughter's Benot Mitzvah and was actually handed down from my father to my mother to my daughters. The Torah itself represents a link to my family's past, and having the Torah restored in my father's honor, I think, is a great tribute to him and also his values. Knowing that the Torah will be available for many generations to come, I think, is a fantastic tribute to my family.
The Sofer, a scribe trained in the ancient art of writing and repairing our holy Torah scrolls, uses the quill of a kosher bird or a reed dipped in ink created by special recipe. Each letter is written with intense concentration, kavanah, and exact precision. The Sofer who is charged with the task of restoring our scroll is Neil Yerman, whose approach to his work begins deep within his soul and emanates through his quills. By restoring the letters, he honors the memory of the ones who once gathered round and held this scroll.
Written by someone with a feather or a reed over 200 years ago in a totally different part of the world. And the people who cherish the scroll, most of their names, most of their faces have been forgotten.
During this year, our Sofer Neil Yerman will work to restore our scroll, and during 3 separate visits, every member of the community from toddlers to elders will have the opportunity to re-ink a Hebrew letter in our Torah.
This is something physical, something tangible, something that everybody can see and feel and establish a personal, physical connection with by actually writing one of the letters for this restoration process. All you need is your hand and a willingness to sit down with our Sofer and let him guide your hand in writing a letter in this restoration process.
So right before God rested on Shabbat, God formed the letters, the holy, holy letters of the Torah, the Otiot. And we have an opportunity this year to get to know those letters, their shape and their sound and their stories. And I invite you to join us in getting close to the letters of Torah and all their magical powers.
In this scroll, it's written, Lo bashamayim hi, that the words of this Torah should never be considered so far away from us or so far removed from us that we can't take them into our own hearts and study them and make them our own. From the very old in our congregation all the way to the brand new adults, our bat mitzvah students, they should all have access to reading from this beautiful scroll, from portion to portion, from holiday to holiday, year in, year out, and make it a living Torah.
The writing of letters is just one part of our year of living Torah. There will be many other opportunities to engage with Torah, including the Pick a Pasuk project.
We have a supplemental program, which we're calling the Pick a Pasuk project, setting up a number of opportunities for people to respond artistically or creatively to the verse. How you decide to explore it, completely up to you. But what we're hoping is that everybody, in addition to writing a letter, will also pick a verse and allow that verse to serve as a doorway for them into the vast and wonderful palace of the world of Torah.